a bit of updates coming from the Kwara incident. A lot of countries around the world have had quite a number of things to say. Interesting news, the US government has also had quite a number of, or would I say the US president has had a few things to say at his breakfast meeting yesterday. We're going to be talking about that. There are updates coming from the matter of the Electoral Act. There's also updates coming from the PDP, actually, or one of the PDP, or the two of the PDPs, and a few other things around the country and the world, and in the world of sports as well. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show with us. My name is Dolupo. This is the Boom Bar. This is where we give you everything politics, sports, and everything else in between. So, again, I said, my name is Dolupo, and with me in the studio is Sola Rogers.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to the Boom Bar. Thank God it's Friday, New Music Friday. Even if we don't have any new music for you today, we have a whole lot more.
Okay, so we're going straight into the gist today. Today is Friday, so you know what? I'm not even going to have this conversation of who is who. First, please, I think that for worthy of mention, one person decides to join another team, plays for the team for the first time, and decides to drop a masterclass. That's how we do it right here as Nigerians. And you might be wondering who I'm talking about. I'm talking about Ademola Lookman. He didn't just drop a masterclass for Atletico Madrid. He had a goal and an assist. They defeated Real Betis 5-0. It's not something we've seen from Atletico Madrid in a long time. Also, I have seen quite a number. I've seen on Twitter, and I've also seen a lot on on YouTube as well. Apparently, a lot of Madrid fans are having a meltdown, kind of saying that he went to the wrong Madrid. So it's safe to say that he's a goodbye.
Confused they are. He went to the club that wanted him and needed him the most, also knowing that there was a tug of war between Madrid and Fenerbahce. So at some point in time, did your Madrid chip in and say we're interested? Nope. So he went to the Madrid that needed him. Is at the right Madrid, not the real Madrid, but the right one, which is Atletico.
Is at the right.
And right now we are all Atletico.
Yeah. So at this point, I think it was such a fantastic, a phenomenal thing, and with that kind of thing that he did, I think is good for his confidence going forward. It's had kind of a turbulent time with Atalanta, later part of his issues with the former coach. And even after that, I think that thing really did affect him because his form really dropped. I think that AFCON really did help him.
Yeah.
Pick that form up.
Yeah.
Even though they ended up as third, he was in fantastic form. Maybe he probably needed that break from Atalanta.
Not maybe.
He needed it, yeah.
Maybe. The man had been trying to leave the club because it wasn't working ever since they had a coach that virtually was picking on him, and he had wanted to leave, and they wouldn't let him go because the clubs that were serious about him were Italian clubs, and they were not going to sell to any of their rivals. It's understandable, but it was bad for Ademola's own career.
Yeah. So
of course there were talks of, okay, you know what, go to Turkey. Osimhen is in Turkey, he's thriving. You know, even Osimhen was they should go get Ademola and was it Frank or someone for him and all of that. So yeah, he had to leave Atalanta. There's something called Kwalabusi.
What I'm even saying was, it wasn't even about him leaving Atalanta. It was that AFCON break.
I'm saying that if he had left when he was supposed to leave last season, we won't even be talking about all of this because he wanted to leave and they were holding him back.
Yeah, very, very interesting. But I'm so happy for him. I was really happy about his move, And then after yesterday's game, fantastic. I went back today, watched the goal. It was phenomenal. He had a beautiful game yesterday, and I hope that this he builds from it. Maybe even it's time to give the Spanish clubs a run for their money, like, shake people a little bit. And like, okay, looks like Atletico Madrid is not smiling at this point. Yeah, it really would be beautiful for
especially
career.
at the time when their coach has been under some kind of pressure, and there are even talks of him being replaced. He's been there forever. One of the longest serving coaches in Europe, as in one of the few ones that have had a long career
spell
at a club and all of that. Would you even call that a spell? Because you don't taper spell.
True.
But so this new, and he already singled him out for praise yesterday.
Yeah, so it was just such a beautiful thing to watch. But still talking about Europe and the kind of things, the football that's happening in Europe at the moment. Interesting news coming from that angle, as Ancelotti has officially released a list of 11 players that looks like they're sure that are going to be in the Brazil's 2026 World Cup squad. We know that World Cup is really coming up with a lot of conversation these days, mainly because that's what a lot of people are looking for, game time and all that, so that they can play the World Cup. It's a one in a lifetime situation for some people. I still saw, I think, an interview of Alex Iwobi when he was still being asked, and he's like, oh, they're waiting and their fingers crossed, hoping that they would play, they will still be able to get to the World Cup. That story for another day. That's not why we're here, because I'm sure that SR is about to give it to anybody. He's not a fan of that conversation. But really, the conversation is that Ancelotti has now officially released a list of 11 people. There's Alisson, there's Marquinhos, there's Gabriel, there's Casemiro, there's Bruno, Vinicius Jr., Estevao, Rafinha, Rodrigo, Matheus Cunha, and Martinelli.
Yeah. This is enough now. Does it even need the rest? Brazil is so talented.
It is. They are actually talented. When you look at that list,
it's
like,
scary. They're
actually like best players in their teams at the moment. It is beautiful. It is scary. Let's not even lie. That and that's just 11. So at least these 11 people are sure. The talks of take, for example, I think that another team that there's been a lot of conversation about is the English team, and how it looks like nobody's spot is sure yet. And I think the only reason why that could also happen is the amount of talented people the coach has to pick from, and he can't pick more than a certain number anyway.
Yeah, England is doing well. They have very good players now, better than they've had in recent times. Before, you would mention maybe 3 or 4 outstanding players, and the rest were just there, average players. That's my opinion. But now you can actually mention almost 2 11s for England. They have good goalkeepers now. They have solid players in virtually every position. Some of their old players are doing very well now again. So I don't want to be in Toku's position.
Yeah. But talking about England player, but in club, it's now looks like it's official that Barcelona is about to sign Marcus Rashford permanently. We know that he has always said it, that I don't think he wanted to go back to United. He's still on loan in Barcelona. The man don't want to go back to United, and he's not doing badly.
The truth is,
Barcelona, actually.
The truth is, he has achieved everything that he can achieve at Man United. What's he going back there to do? And United have actually moved on without him. If you look at the way United is structured, who are you going to bench for Rashford? Cunha? Mbumo? Who? Nobody. So he has found a club that actually needs him, and the club that he left behind needs to cash out because it's an academy product. So whatever they get is a profit for them. And again, his wage bill is crazy. The kind of money that United are paying him, they want to ship him off their books like yesterday. Like, you gotta go. And it's always down to the relationships that they had with whoever was the manager at that particular time when they had the falling out. The funny thing is, of all the players that the guy kicked out, I think Rashford is the only one that's done well. So again, you now look at Amorim and say he probably knew what he was doing, because where's Sancho now?
Yeah.
Where's Garnacho? Garnacho is not.
No, Garnacho. Okay, Garnacho.
Nah.
Garnacho is he's in Chelsea now.
He's not. Garnacho is not a regular at Chelsea. It's not like week in, week out it would start. And his grouse with the coach was that it was bent for the Europa finals, and the way it was pulled out in the semi-finals. But the person that they put you out for actually changed the game and scored. Mason Mount, you get, who actually happens to be a former Chelsea player. So it's actually poetic justice. So if you look at it like that, I think it's time for Madrid to really bring out the checkbook.
Yeah. The honest truth is, I think that he's really done well for himself. That's what I can say. He's really, really, really done well for himself at Barcelona. So why not? If not, it's a good move for him, and let's enjoy. Anyway, Kwara is now leading Nigeria's 2026 ITF Africa Cup quest.
As always, now the man has been there. He's been very consistent.
Yeah,
and there's no better male table tennis player than him, even in the whole of Africa.
Yeah, in the whole of Africa, I think he's still number one on that. Now let's move on quickly and come back to Nigeria. Now let's talk about how there was a prayer breakfast that the U.S. president had. I think it's something that they normally have. That as there's been a lot of conversation around it. I think yesterday the president was, one of the things that the U.S. president was talking about was about prayer in schools, that a lot of people have had. Of course, we know that the man comes off as a bit of a conservative, so he's saying a lot of people, apparently a lot of people in the U.S. had asked that in public schools it should be scrapped. And he's saying nope, people should be able to do whatever they want to do. It's government school, it's government. They're still claiming to be a Christian country, so that's what's going to apply. But that's not even the reason why I brought up this conversation. Also, one of the things that the president had said, the U.S. president had said, was that he had actually acknowledged working with Nigeria to launch the Christmas Day strikes. So what he's saying, compared to what some people had alluded, is that it wasn't an invasion, or compared to the things that he had tweeted before that. And I remember, I think the Nigerian armed forces, I think I talked about it, how it was a joint effort. They knew that it was going to happen, and it happened the way it happened. So now he has now confirmed it as well, that yes, they worked together. We talked about how there were some U.S. soldiers that are in Nigeria now, and how they've been working together. I think there have been like 2 airstrikes or something in between that. But yes, he has confirmed that. Interesting news also from that was also where he actually acknowledged the president's wife. That's Remi Tinubu. Apparently she was at the breakfast, and he had acknowledged her. The man really seems to be pleased that she's a pastor.
Well, Donald Trump, even a clock, a broken clock is correct twice a day. Like if a clock is stuck on 4:05, the battery is out. Yeah. When it's 4:05 in the morning, it is correct, and it's 4:05 in the afternoon. So even a broken clock, and yes, that's what I meant. I'm referring to the President of America. I'm not a big fan. I'm not gonna lie. I think that I think he has done a lot of things that are wrong and against even the laws that he swore to protect as the President of America. But that's for America to sort out. But the funny thing about it for me is like you're organizing a prayer, breakfast prayer, and all of that, but you don't go to church, sir.
He's busy. He's the president of the United States.
I hear you.
He's the president of the United States.
I remember the funny day when he was in Washington. That time that he lost the election, and he took a Bible and was carrying it upside down. And I'm like, what an evangelical you are! What part of the Bible do you read, sir? Not a big fan, but I'm glad that God's name, Shah, is still being propagated. Because the reason why I said even a 40 clock is correct twice a day is that there are some things that he has done that is actually good for the world. The way things were going with wokeness, it was just going upside down. It's supposed to be a live and let live kind of situation. If you are a Muslim, you should practice your religion. Nobody should stop you from it. But you should not use it to disturb other people. The same way Christians should not disturb people, traditionalists, the Jews, the Hebrews, right? Everybody, Buddhists, everybody should be able to live and let live. But at some point, they were moving mad, and you couldn't even mention God's name. You couldn't pray. You couldn't read the Bible in public. Except you're the president and you carry the Bible upside down. So shout out to Donald Trump. I think I must give him kudos for some of those things that he did to bring some sanity into the public space and by extension the global space. So shout out to him for that. And yeah, it was a big deal for it was some kind of political point for Nigeria's government that the First Lady of Nigeria was at that event, and everybody went to town with it. Like, oh yeah, this and that, But it's funny the difference 4 or 5 weeks can make the life of a nation, where you went from threats of boots on the ground to being acknowledged at such an event and all of that, But at the end of the day, I'd also hope that we live and let live, regardless of whatever religion you profess.
Yeah, really, it's ridiculous. It's actually, it was like you said, it was actually a good thing for the Nigerian government to think that President Trump acknowledged the president's wife. Let's be honest, it's a thing. But anyway, now let's go on from that. Let's have a conversation about. We're still talking about the Electoral Act, which in the real sense of it, I don't want to sound funny though, but maybe I would say that I wasn't expecting any real difference, or would I say that I don't think that even if this electronic transmission of results thing was mandatory, it would have really done anything to Nigeria's electoral system. Maybe that's why I'm just very laid back about it. Apparently, some people have not. As the one of the interesting people on social media, the brother of the former governor of Ekiti State, Isaac Fayose, has now said that, we've finally lost Nigeria. People like Obi and others can never be president.
A little bit dramatic on his own part.
Very.
Yeah. And I still say, I said this a few days ago and I'll say it again. I still see it as excuses. I still see it as excuses. I was
going to say that. I don't think that's going to be like what's going to solve Nigeria's problems.
It's people who have overrated themselves that talk like this. You assume that everybody is on your bandwagon. You are mistaken. And you can't prove it, because even that last election that you people claim you won, you didn't even have agents.
Didn't have proof.
You didn't have agents in all the polling units.
Yeah, there
so
was
you
no
don't
proof
have
that it
it.
was going to that it was.
You don't have that strength that you profess, that you claim. You don't, and that's the funny thing about it. All you have is noise, social media noise. I say this boldly. So what the F makes you say things about that, about a country, an entire country? Look, go get your house in order. Get your numbers right. and see how anybody can rig you out. I'm telling you the truth. You cannot be rigged out if you really have the numbers. It's not possible.
Yeah, but
it's not possible.
maybe somebody should have that conversation with someone like Peter Obi as well, as he has now said that the Senate's open rejection of electoral transmission of results is an unforgivable act of electoral manipulation ahead of 2027. According to him, it says the Senate's actions confirms Nigeria is fantastically corrupt and disgraced.
Wow.
I think that Mr. Peter Obi, for a person that wants to be Nigerian,
Hold on.
he has such
Hold on.
heavy negative words.
Hold
to
on.
say.
Did he actually say this?
Yes, he
Did Obi say it in a video or put it out in a press
it's
statement?
On Twitter. It's on Twitter.
On his
Twitter,
verified
yes.
page.
Yes.
Apparently, it's on Facebook too. So according to some people, and I don't want to believe it. Please carry on. I just wanted to be sure first that it's verified.
So I wanted to why I say so is because again, whether we transmit results or not, can we talk about the fact that even if they electronically transmit results, it does not translate to the fact that you have won the election, because at the end of the day, it's still about the numbers. Do you really honestly have those numbers? I know that it's something that I've heard it once or twice. Someone had told me once that politicians are incurable optimists. I get it. Everybody is going into, and I don't think that it's a defeatist attitude. I think it's a defeatist attitude to a large extent. Some people can argue with that. If you're going into maybe like an election or something, you're not hoping to lose, even if you know that you don't have more than 1,000.
What if I told you it was
party.
a strategy as against a defeatist attitude?
No, that's what I'm saying. Like, so you can't say that going into an election, it will be wrong to admit that you have lost before the election goes on. I get it. However, calling all these things and now basing your win or loss on election transmission, not voting pattern, not the accreditation, not PVCs, not none of that. I think that it is ridiculous. 1, 2, and I think that a lot of people are making a mistake
but
that the Senate needs to be clear on.
Yeah,
they did not
exactly. You're about to say it, right?
Yeah, they did not cancel the transmission of results electronically
At all.
What is in the Electoral Act is what the Senate left there, which they're saying that it is optional. However, it is in the purview of INEC, barring whatever situation they were. If you remember the last elections, the INEC chairman had talked about, one, there were places that did not have internet, or there's the issue of power. Let's not lie, because even if you're going to transmit some of these things need power. So for you to electronically transmit things, two things are involved: power and reliable internet. But there was also the conversation where, I don't know if you remember, that the INEC chairman had talked about thousands of attempted hacks on their website.
Yeah.
Thousands of it in a span of, I think, days. Minutes. Yeah. I wanted to be conservative here. In a span of God knows how many hours. And those are things that you think about. So when you say, oh, you want to make it mandatory, are we categorically saying that Nigeria as a country today, and let's not lie to ourselves, do we have the power? Do we have the reliable power? Do we have the reliable internet? Do we have the reliable cyber security to be sure that, how are we even sure that the people that you say, okay, they want to transmit, and some people will not come and doctor your own results?
And again,
on those places.
We talked about this yesterday. We've talked about it a million times before. Every political party must have their own situation room, and you must have boots on the ground by the way of your agents who would sign those forms, take pictures of those forms,
Yeah.
and forward them to you. There's WhatsApp now, even if you don't have other,
That way, you already have
softwares.
every single result as at when due.
And if they now bring out a result from any polling unit that is different from what you have, based on that signed form, that's where the problem
That's
lies.
where the problem lies.
But
Yeah.
by transmission, immediate transmission, or clinical transmission, it don't mean none.
Is that what you're basing
It
your
don't mean none.
your
It
own
doesn't.
election on?
And the sad part is when you condemn an entire country because of an electoral system, what happens in the other countries that don't even do it at all? Some very advanced countries, the ones that you look,
They don't.
They're even still looking for a voter's card. They're still looking for a system that allows everybody to have a voter's card. Go and do
Exactly.
the research. Even the US is grappling with electoral reforms, and they are pushing for some of the things that Nigeria has been doing for years. But come on. Someone who wants to govern Nigeria, you want to rule over Nigeria, and you have to condemn the country at every chance you get. Nigeria is disgraced and corrupt, according to Peter Obi. Haba Malam. Haba.
I'm not even shocked. It's not the first time he's saying it. I hope that and this is just an aside, but I'm sure that after seeing the video of President Trump acknowledging Mrs. Tinubu, a lot of people will have felt like they had a dagger in their hearts, because this was the person that they hoped was coming to come and take over and have boots on the ground.
They're going to tell you it doesn't mean nothing. They're going to be a quick spin about it. That doesn't mean anything. It's a foreign country. What power do they have? And blah, blah, blah.
They suddenly don't have powers now.
That's their spin. That's their spin.
Interesting news there. But anyway, I just wanted to put it out there. I think that even media houses need to be careful the way they're reporting some of these things and the narrative they're putting out. The Senate did not cancel
They didn't remove anything.
Electronic transmission. They're just saying that there are now two options of transmit, which was what was there at the 2023
They're just
elections.
reaffirming.
They just reaffirmed. They did not change anything in that clause. In
it's
that
the same
act.
thing that
End
happened.
of story.
It's the same thing that happened with the tax laws and everything. Most of the laws that people are complaining about have been there.
I've been there
for
since
decades.
Yeah. Let's put out the right thing. Now, moving on from that, the federal government has now issued stern warnings and deadlines to China Harbour Engineering Company and its sister firm over alleged substandard work. This was the warnings followed after a meeting that was chaired by the Minister of Work, Senator David Umahi. He said the companies are concessionaries on the Maraba, Kefi, Akwanga, Lafia, Makodi dual carriage, and they're also supposed to be handling the Makodi 9th Mile, Enugu Road, and the 7XL Road in Lagos. That's giving them a 7-day ultimatum.
Now, what for you? Contract where everybody defined. You still and collect.
You bungle it.
You still not be say bongo. You see the cut corner. You didn't bongo. Bongo now say do like this one I say you are deliberately cutting corners because you're trying to make extra money. You're not thinking about the people who are going to use the road. You're not thinking about your own referrals and how you're supposed to get more jobs from doing one job right. Abby, keep it up.
Keep it up.
But again, kudos to the minister. That monitoring is an important aspect of these jobs. Before, you just hear that contracts have been given out, and the ones that
and that's probably one of the major issues. Nobody ever went back to.
So the few contracts that are successfully completed, they tie ribbons and they cut it and say, hey, they are inaugurating and launching and all of that.
Even those ones, how are you sure that it's not substandard?
But here we are in a country where there are hundreds of thousands of abandoned projects. It's crazy. It's crazy. So shout out to the minister for not just awarding contracts or supervising them, but also monitoring.
Yeah. Now, let's come back to the conversation of what happened in Kwara State. The United Nations, the US, and Turkey have also condemned the killings in Kwara State. First things first, I actually wanted to put it out there. The number that came out, was it yesterday or 2 days ago, was 160 something. The state government has come out to say that they're actually 75. Not that it's a good thing that 75 people died. Just wanted to get the numbers right. Let's not.
Well, some people are even saying that even the 100 and something alleged number is even a lie, that there is more. Some people have come on TV to say stuff like that.
Oh, okay.
I've always asked the question though. Some of the, especially the journalists that put these things, especially in the print, 74 dead, 86 dead, the same story, 106 dead. How you did get the number? Did your reporter count the bodies? Where did the information come from? We're quick to put numbers to these things. I know you're trying to do your job, but if you do not have the specific numbers, rather than spread panic and lies, why don't you just say a lot of people have died and that you're waiting for the official figure, or that you're actually going there to ascertain that those were the numbers
of
that,
people.
Yeah.
But anyway, according to the Nigeria police, they've now confirmed that there's 75 people that died in Kwara. Also, the talks of over 50 people that are also receiving treatment in different hospitals for different degrees of injuries that were sustained during the assault. And again, I also wanted to say, before we even go on to what the US and UN and Turkey had to say, I also wanted to say that I don't want to say kudos. I wanted to say it is such a beautiful something to emulate with the people of the town, because what really caused this assault, they're actually also Muslims, but their issue was that these people's extremism, they really wanted to indoctrinate them into what, and they're like, no, that's not what it's about. And I think it's high time. Sadly, it's so sad that people died for what they believed in, for doing the right thing, for sticking up to the right thing. It's sad that scores of people died for that. But I think that it's worthy of note that even as much as there's a lot of people vilifying people's religion as Muslims, I think Islam around the world is really, really vilified. Let's not lie to ourselves. That there are some people, even as Muslims, that still feel that they need to stand up for the right thing. It's worthy of emulation. It's such a beautiful thing to hear about.
Yeah, so thank God that they stood up for what they believed in, but sadly, their lives have been cut short, and nothing will bring me joy personally than to see that these people are brought, not even taken care of quietly, but they're actually arrested and brought in. You know, like, there's a way that they should be treated that we're not allowed to talk about on air, but I think they deserve the maximum. They do of that treatment.
They do. They definitely do.
The ways that they're supposed to be kept alive for some time. You see, I didn't say they should be killed though, so we're not promoting violence here. We do not subscribe to any form of violence. Yeah, but the Nigerian military has rallied now. There's a new structure that has been set up for Kwara, that particular access. Even the new commander of that brigade is already on ground there, and work has started. You know, like we were pointing out yesterday, they don't go in with regular weapons. They go in with military grade, and that's why the Nigerian Army, Navy, Air Force, and even the NSCDC and all of that always come together. And hopefully with some support from the Nigerian Air Force, we would be able to catch these people.
Yeah, it's such a very sad
to a festival.
Anyway, the United Nations, like I said, the US and Turkey have condemned the killings that happened in Kwara, United Nations Secretary General has talked about how sent his condolences to the people and the government of Nigeria. Also, the United States mission has condemned the horrific one. However, even Turkey had come out to talk about the heinous attack, and they're offering their help.
And what about Nicki Minaj? Has she said anything?
As what?
No, she was going on about how Christians' life matter and it was Christians that are being killed. Don't Muslim lives matter too?
Oh God.
No, I am actually asking a question. We are all human, aren't we?
Yeah.
So you pick on one small part of it, and this is what we were saying all through the end of last year, that Nigeria's problem
we have a security issue.
We have a big one. We agree.
Let's not lie.
Isn't this enough for you to also drop a comment? Or those lives don't matter because they're not your faith? I'm just asking.
Anyway, it's interesting news. Interesting news from that. So now we're quickly moving on from that. We really hope that these things don't happen again.
There'll be good news.
Yeah, we really hope. There really needs to be good news. Police have now arrested 4 kidnapped suspects in Ondo State.
There'll be good news.
Also, Kogi police have arrested 8 suspects in joint security raids.
So you see that the police is doing a lot and they're getting results. And to all the elites in this country that felt that they could not live without their police orderlies, how is it now? How is it?
You are not a nice person, I swear. You are not a nice person. You shall have ways of doing just. How did that matter enter this?
Because the police are actually doing more now, which shows that there are more personnel on ground to do police work.
I get it.
Not carry umbrella or help you carry food at Owambe.
Anyway, let's go.
Or drive your wife to the market.
Oh my God. Dangote Refinery has said that is commencing the production of surfactants for detergent manufacturing in Nigeria. Apparently, surfactants are a primary component of cleaning detergents that are used in households for cleaning surfaces, garments, as well as personal hygiene.
And they are imported.
Yeah.
And that speaks to a large chunk of forex also. We keep talking about the byproduct of
daddy
crude.
Just wants to, he doesn't do it all.
That's a good thing.
And apparently it's a byproduct, like you said, it's a byproduct of crude. So there's a whole refinery. So
the downer for me is how some of these things still don't trickle down to the micro and the small scale people.
But I think it would if they start producing it in Nigeria.
Okay.
It should.
So again, the downer for me is how it usually doesn't, because there's nobody monitoring prices and everything. There's nobody enforcing any of these things. There's no competitions board that has the capacity to say, okay, this is where we are now. Now that this company is importing this and this one is getting it locally, your cost of production should have gone down. Your logistics cost should have gone down because they're bringing CNG trucks and everything. But at the end of the day, we're still paying the same thing that we're paying for virtually everything. That's my downer. It's a depressing matter that even when the producers or manufacturers are spending less, their prices are not going down. That's what I'm saying, Dolupo.
I get your angle because it's something that a lot of people say that if you understand Nigeria's economics, then you are just every economics is supposed to be some sort of science. When you do this, you get this. It's demand and supply, yeah. But when it comes to Nigeria and Nigerian middlemen and retailers, it's almost like nothing that goes up comes down. So I get it, but I'm just hoping that, I'm hoping that we would follow the right thing, like the way the economy is going now, and it's looking like, okay, we're finally
Progress.
having progress. I hope that
No, the progress I'm referring to is you. You went from it should to you are hoping.
no, I get your
so progress.
when you said it at first, did I get where you were coming from? Oh yes, I get where you're coming from. I'm just saying that I'm hoping that this has the effect it should normally have, because it's something I always say, Nigerians are really the problem of Nigeria. But anyway, we'll see where all that drama is going to go to. Moving on from that, Oyo State is set to buy 60,000 laptops for WAEC CBT transition. We know that I think from next year, I don't know if it's this year or next year, WAEC has also said that, which is West Africa Examination Council, that they do the senior secondary school examination. They were talking about how those exams that are written are going to be CBT, which is computer-based examination. But the Oyo State government has affirmed its preparedness for the official commencement of CBT mode of the WAEC examination. Now, my question with that is, and I have a few issues with it. I'm sorry if it might sound like I'm not forward with it. There is a reason JAM is doing it. They've been doing it for a couple of years, and I don't think states own these CBT centers. I've not heard of states owning them. A lot of them are privately owned, and they're used. A lot of them are even universities CBT centers are being used and all that. When I hear, Oyo State or whatever state wants to buy 60,000 laptops or computers, when we know that when government, a lot of these governments, state governments especially, when they buy these things in bulk, what's the guarantee that are going to buy good quality? It also sounds like something that somebody somewhere wants to maybe used to make a whole lot of money.
But you don't know that.
That's what I'm saying. It sounds like to me. What is also, and even if these things are bought and these things are done, and they are what's the word now? It's state of the art and all that. Another major issue on the scale that they want to do it. Another major issue of what we know with Nigeria is our maintenance culture. After this year, what is the guarantee that in the next 3, 4, 5 years, those facilities that you have built and you have bought with millions and billions of naira, what is going to be put in place? Is it going to be in the care of WAEC, or is it going to be state government? Is it going to be in the care of the government? Are these CBT centers going to be built in schools that the schools would monitor them and keep them well? Because it doesn't make sense to do one now and the next 1-2 years spend another money. It does not make any sense.
I'd like to commend the governor of Oyo State for this idea, and I hope that proper structures are put in place for the longevity of this whole concept. One of the things that actually jumped at me was how 60,000 computers means a lot of business, especially for Nigerian-owned computer manufacturers. I'm hoping that they will get a piece of this, if not everything, and that way it will also boost the economy of the country and all of that. Those are the things that I'm really hoping and praying that happens to it. The things that Dolupo pointed out are valid, and I hope that in planning to buy 60,000 computers, the Oyo State government had already envisaged all these things and then some, and put checks in place to ensure that things are done properly. Because
according to WAEC, what WAEC is saying now is that WAEC do not own this. We know that JAM, for example, has done, people have centers, but with WAEC you register through your school. So what WAEC is saying now is that this year's 2026 exams is dependent on the readiness of the school. If your school has the capacity for full CBT,
and maybe that's what Oyo is trying to do.
That's what there's. I think so, that private schools, public schools, if the school has the capacity for full CBT, they will go ahead and conduct CBT WAEC for that school. If not, they're still going to do pen and paper. So what the Oyo State government is looking at is maybe to equip its own state schools. I just again hope that there will be proper maintenance for these things. There will be proper.
But why laptops though? Why not desktop, which makes it harder for it to be carted away?
True. Yeah.
There's still the small matter of appointment in your neighboring states. And
that thing was
I've not heard about it.
That thing that you pointed out now, I remember when I was serving, it became a thing. And you know one of the major issues with it? So what they did was they loaded people's students' textbooks. Each class, you're giving one, and but it was internet enabled. And then they even they're supposed to submit assignments and all that, and they're young. Of course they knew how to use it, but guess what? They knew how to use it better than just for school.
Oh yeah.
So apparently there were back ends for these things, and then they now started realizing that actually the senior secondary started using things for a lot of untoward, and it became an epidemic that they had to actually withdraw a lot of those things. And I think at a point they were shutting down like websites that wouldn't work on it and all that. However, those things should have been put into, now it's a thing of which, imagine if as the years rolled by, they got
continued.
Yeah, it had continued, and they got
and it had trickled down to primary school.
Yeah, it got bigger.
And nursery school.
Got newer as you're leaving school. The new ones that were coming were getting newer models, and they were,
Yeah.
I'm sure that by now, the whole of Osun State would probably be rid of paper textbooks and notebooks and all. It was a nice concept. The execution wasn't just thought out through, which was also if you lived in Osun State around that time, there were quite a number of things that were laudable projects that where the execution wasn't just thought out through. I'm not throwing shade at anybody, I'm just saying, from roads, from breaking down mountains to build roads, and the road, there was no money to complete the roads, and let me just be good. Let me just move. Let me see what I'm not supposed to say. Anyway, PDP leadership crisis. There's still gist about it, and the other side, if I can call them that, the other faction has now come to condemn or criticized INEC for recognizing the Wike camp. Kabiru Turaki led faction of the PDP has condemned the INEC for officially recognizing the caretaker committee aligned with Miesom Wike. They call it the move unconstitutional and provocative. This was seen in a statement that was released by their own national publicity secretary, saying that the Turaki-led faction would exhaust all legal avenues to challenge the commission's action. And I was going to say that, if I remember very well, there is a court case that I would say is backing INEC's decision.
Judgment.
So,
judgment, not even case.
Judgment is the word, actually. Judgment is the word. The court, we know that the court had nullified the Ibadan Convention. So, is INEC the problem? Because a lot of times, we know that we're always talking about INEC not doing the right thing.
Look, again, I can see through all of this. They're just playing to the gallery. They don't want to accept the fact that
they've lost out.
Yeah, and so here they are trying to hit at INEC because they should be hitting at the people that the court said they should take over. If they get the lever, now the person will come be the authentic PDP now. But understand. And say INEC no go really respond. And if INEC respond, INEC will tell you, it's the court and we're only obeying the court and all of that. But man, we should be with they tell you now, this thing that you are doing is wrong.
It's not adding up. It's not
wrong.
adding up, yeah.
And if you really want to save the PDP, it's not too late. You guys must realign. PDP remains one of the biggest parties in Africa, regardless. All these other parties are going to be behind PDP. A lot of the popular ones now, they're behind.
Yeah. And it's something that we talked about before. Whether we like it or not, there is still a grassroots structure that the PDP has, that the only other party that can boast of it at the moment is the APC. So the PDP will still, I think it will take more than infighting of 1-2 years for the PDP to completely disintegrate.
The infighting is over 2 years old. So that your prediction is time is on the brink.
No, I think that is going to take...
I'm agreeing with you. Yeah. You are projecting another 2 years. I'm saying the infighting started from the time the NPDP was created. That's where the problem started from, when governors...
But a lot of those people moved back to PDP now.
Exactly, but that's where the problem started. When this one moved in, that one moved out. When this batch came, another batch left. Yes, that's where the problem started from.
Didn't that happen with like APC too as well? So
No. APC has 30 governors now.
No, I'm not talking about now. We're talking about as far back as when President...
Which faction of APC left the way the NPDP left?
There was one now that went to the PDP.
Which faction?
PDP.
What's the faction? Who were there? How many governors left? How many senators left? How many House of Rep members left? None.
Wait, when then Bukola Saraki, they were in the APC.
That's NPDP. That's NPDP going back to PDP.
Okay.
It was the NPDP. They were the core of the PDP that joined the APC, and as soon as they got what they wanted, they went back to the PDP. That's what happened. The Senate president was PDP that joined APC. The House of Rep leader was a PDP person too. It was Dogara. What's his name? Those were the people. But there's no core. In fact, I think the ones that were core, about 2 or 3 of them, never returned. They tried to contest. The senator in Ogun State, he left and he went with them. The House of Rep member in Ibadan, his father was a governor. He left. Yeah. They all went back to the APC. Do you understand now? So it's that thing that you are saying has already happened. So this is their last chance.
But what I'm saying is that even with all this infighting that has happened over the years, there's still, like, PDP is still a party I said that too. I'm just telling you that we can't keep saying that. That's like living on old glory if they don't do something to solidify it. If they don't put their personal aggrandizement aside, if they don't put their gains and their pecuniary gains and sit down and say, you know what, okay, Wike, you have this, we have that. Let us sit down and rescue our party. What can we do? What can we do? Everybody that has something to lose has left the PDP. And by something to lose, I mean everybody that knows that they want to contest an election next year and they would require a stable party that the secretary and the chairman can sign their candidacy forms, have left to other parties that they can get it. The ones that are staying back, the governor of Oyo is not contesting for governor again. He's not. Interesting. Very interesting news. We'll definitely be following what is happening with the PDP. It is very interesting. It's at times you see it and you think it's actually comical, but maybe also this is what the PDP needs to rearrange and realign itself. But we never know. Anyway, quickly before we go, just let's go through a bit of foreign news as France has become the first EU country to open a consulate general in Greenland. We know that Greenland seems to be
The land is green. It's green. Oh. Mr. Trump wanted Greenland, went to Davos and stopped talking about it. What really happened in Davos? Can somebody enlighten us?
You do too much.
I only ask the right questions.
Don't ask the questions.
Before Davos, I'm going to take over Greenland. We want Greenland. We're taking it. If you don't give it to us, we'll take it. Then you get to Davos. I don't know what they told you there, but you come back. You ain't talking Greenland no more, bro.
The man has a lot.
What's going on,
he
bro?
Has a lot on his plate.
Hey, Trump. Shout out to you,
he
man.
He has a lot on his plate.
Even Greenland people say they don't want here. They don't want for Allah. They just want to be happy.
Anyway, quickly before we go, sad news coming from Pakistan as a suicide bomber killed 31 people at Islamabad mosque during Friday prayers. Again, I feel that this is one of the most ironic situations that happen around the world. So, you claim to be a suicide bomber, which, when this happens, let's not lie, they claim that they're Muslims, but then you are okay with killing your fellow Muslims. It just doesn't make any sense to me.
It doesn't make sense. It didn't make sense yesterday.
It still doesn't.
It makes sense today.
Yeah.
And it will not make sense tomorrow.
It still doesn't. It still doesn't. It's just sad. It's just sad. Anyway, news coming from Morocco as they continued evacuations as flood has hit northern provinces for the 10th day. They're not having it nice in some parts. In some parts of Morocco, it's not looking good. It's not looking good at all.
Right.
So they're moving thousands and thousands of people at this point. Wow. It's not because you want to pay WAFCON.
No, they already said they don't. They want you to postpone it and all of that.
Maybe it's not very dear. Not water, not come and carry our girls. Just enjoy. Anyway,
is everything all right though?
Yes, everything is okay. I just
you're rambling.
Pay me no.
You're rambling.
No, pay me no heat. It's fine. Okay. I said what I said, but if
we don't know what you said.
It's fine. It's fine. You don't need to hear. I was just soliloquizing. I was soliloquizing.
Is everything okay at home? I'm just asking.
Please, we are going home. Anyway, on that note, that is all we have take today on the bar. Thank you for listening. Thank you so much for watching. We'll be back again on Monday at 3 p.m. West African time to give you another wonderful edition of the Boom Bar. It's going to be a football-filled weekend. Enjoy yourself, have fun, but in between that, listen to Boom Radio NG. We're 24 hours around the clock. It is new music today, tomorrow, and Sunday. Like, subscribe, share, drop a comment. We'll be here, right here at boomradiong.com. Have a beautiful, beautiful weekend ahead.